undergone a fundamental change. It is necessary to fully study the ball mills and use comprehensive technology to improve the effective power of the ball mills. Number 3. The ball mill theory in ball mills is of no practical significance. Only the ball with uniform ball diameter has the greatest grating ability. Number 4. The single-chamber mill, composed of a variety of liners with different surface shapes, can greatly increase the output of the mill and greatly reduce the power consumption.
Hannah, excuse me. Could you please try to face this camera? Try to face this camera. And I suggest that you can stand here. Stand here. And excellent, very resistant. Just like this. We are trying to face this camera. Otherwise, our friends, our customers, just can watch our head. Okay?
Okay.
Just try stand here. Okay, good.
Number 5. Excellent wear-resistant materials are the basic of the new concept of crushing and grading technology. Number 6. In the ball mill system energy theory, ceramic liners as materials will be the best combination, and it can effectively reduce taxable and chromium pollution. Is a new concept of ball mill system energy. Whether it is diamond or mines, whether it is dry or wet grading processes, we do not hesitate to recommend ceramic liners. If you are interested in this product, please contact us. Thank you. 下面是谁？太难了，就是脱水键。
Hello everyone, this call from Yu China. Let me introduce the manual crusher.
Song线。
The manual crushers. Index. What is the contents of crusher? Two is the second is the application field of crusher, and the third is the classification of crushers, and the fourth is the parameters of the crusher. Many crushers are also called rock crushers, which refer to crushing machinery whose discharge has a particle size greater than 3 millimeters and accounts for more than
看一下那个数据，
50% of
然
the
后每一
total
次的直播完了都是
discharge
从这个2点到4点，
according to the size
或者是
of
上午时
feeding
间段，
and
就是哪些时间段，比如周一到周几，
graduating
就是直播，
pressures
它
are
就是
often
少，
divided into
有些
cost pressure,
因为现在
medium
欧美
pressure, and
时
fine
间
pressure.
一般是在半夜凌晨，很少有人。
但是这是面向全世界的，所以你看是哪个时段的比较多。
In mortality, mining, chemical, cement, and other industrial sectors, a large amount of raw materials
那个是与时
are
间周一
refused.
到周几有规律的，
West need to be processed
是吧？比如说
by
100
crushers
下
every year.
就是周一到周
For
三。
example, in a
这样的
beneficiation
话，我们可以
plant,
做相应的
in order to separate the useful minerals in the ore into monomers, it's necessary to use a crusher to crush the raw ore to the particle size required by the grading process. It is necessary to use crushing machinery to crush the raw materials to the particle size required by the next operation. In departments such as cooking plants, centering plants, ceramic plants, glass industry, powder, metallurgy, etc. Crushing machinery must be used to crush the raw materials to the particle size required by the next operation. In the chemical and electric power sectors, crushing and grading machinery cross the grades raw materials, increasing the surface area of materials and creating favorite conditions for short.
第几页了？卡住了吧？关掉点一下没有就行。
你要是司机，你说你别人不知道，多写一句就行。上海是保国家安全的安全。年轻，看半天，你这地址也没写。
With the rapid development of industry and reduction of resources, the use of Western materials in the production of various components is very important. And the reprocessing of these Western materials needs to be crushed by crushing machinery. There's some applications of crusher. And then the first one is granite, the second is bluestone, and cobblestone, and iron ore. This is under some applications of crusher. Classification according to the y the pressure force x. The crusher can be roughly divided into two categories: crusher and grading machine. Today we mainly introduce the crusher. Generally handles larger pieces of material, and the product size is closer. According to the corrosion method and the structural characteristics of the machine, roughly divided into 6 categories: jaw crusher, impact crusher, vertical impact crusher, cone crusher, hammer crusher, and roller crusher. The jaw crusher. The crusher chamber is composed of 2 jaw planes, a movable jaw and a static jaw, which is simulates the movement of the animal's jaws to complete the material corrosion operation. The features. Jaw crusher is the preferred equipment for primary corrosion. It has the characteristics of a large corrosion ratio, uniform product size, simple structure, reliable work, simple maintenance, and economical operating cost. The first one is less noise and less dust. Second is the corrosion ratio is large and the product size is uniform. And third, the structure is simple and the work is reliable and the operating cost is low. The fourth, the lubrication system is safe and reliable. The replacement of parts is convenient, and the equipment maintenance is simple. The fifth, the corrosion quality is deep, and there is no dead zone, which improves the feeding capacity and output. The sixth, equipment NG7. Single machine NG7 is 50% to 30%. System NG7 is more than doubled. The seventh, the adjustment range of the discharge opening is large, which can meet the requirements of different users. The cone crusher. The cone crusher, a crushing machine, suitable for the materials in metallurgy, construction, road construction, chemistry, and silicate industries. According to different corrosion principles and different product particle size, it is divided into 9 models. They are widely used in mining, smelting, building materials, highways, railways, water conservancy, and chemical industries, and many other sectors. The coin crusher has a large corrosion ratio, high efficiency, low energy consumption, uniform product size, suitable for medium and fine corrosion of various ores and rocks. The features. The first is the high production capacity, better quantity. The second, due to the safety device, the downtime is greatly reduced. The third, the machine body is a cast steel structure with a reinforcement rivets set at the heavy tilt part. The fourth, with an adjuster, it can quickly adjust the size of the post and discharge the material. The fifth, provides spring protection device. The sixth, with a complete lubrication system, it will automatically shut down when the temperature is too high or the fall rate is too slow. The seventh, the internal structure has a good sealing performance, which can effectively protect the equipment from dust and other small particles. The ice, long service life, and strong applicability. Impact crusher. The impact crusher is mainly used for metallurgy, chemical industry, building materials, hydropower, and other materials that often require relocation operations, especially for high-speed operations such as turbines, railways, and hydropower projects. It can be based on the type, scale, and size of the raw materials to be processed. The different requirements of the fission materials stops a variety of configuration forms. The features. The first is the impact crusher is more effective in processing materials with a large amount of moisture and effectively prevents materials from corroding. The impact crusher is applicable to a wide range of material handlers. It is convenient and flexible to adjust the discharging particle size, and the adjustment range is wide. The workers are small and the metal utilization rate is high. The replacement of spare parts is simple, and the materials cost is correspondingly reduced. The hammer crusher. Hammer crusher is a kind of equipment for crushing materials in the form of impact. It is divided into two types: single rotor and double rotor. It is a one-stage crusher that directly crushes materials with a maximum particle size of 600 to 1,800 millimeters to 25 or below 25 millimeters. The hammer crusher is suitable for crushing medium-cut materials such as limestone, slab coke, coal, and other materials in cement, chemical, electric power, metallurgy, and other industrial sectors. The features. The first is the large production value, high production capacity. The second, the product is uniform and there is a little overpowder phenomenon. And the third, low energy constipation poor unite product, simple structure. The fourth, the equipment is light in weight and easy to operate the maintain. Reliable mechanical structure, high production efficiency, good applicability. The root crusher. The root crusher used one pair or two pairs of oscillating rotating round roller to crush materials. The material falls between the two rollers through the upper fitting part of the equipment and is brought into the gap between the two rollers by friction and is gradually crushed. And finished materials leaks from the low part while encountering materials that are too hard to be broken. The rollers automatically retract to increase the gap between the roller and the overhead materials fall. With the action of hydraulic cylinders or springs, the roller returns to the original gap, thereby protecting the machine and adjusting the gap between the two rollers. You can control the maximum particle size of the product. The features. Our commonly used roller crushers have the following advantages: simple structure, convenient maintenance, and low manufacturing cost. It is mainly suitable for coarse and intermediate portion of practical plant materials in mining, metallurgy, chemical, coal, and other industries. Its feed size is large, and other output size is adjustable, especially in the coal industry. The use of this machine to crush raw coal can be directly crushed as long as it undergoes oil removal, impurity removal, and no granule removal. The crushed materials have uniform particle size and low excessive corrosion rates, which simplifies the coal preparation process and reduces replacement and production costs. Some others. Today, only some common classifications are introduced. In actual application, there will be more and more detailed classifications, such as the torture, correctual crusher, compound crusher. Parameters according to different purposes. The parameters of concern are slightly different. Some common ones are inlet size, outlet size, outputs, power, etc. Price is not the only decisive factor, but to decide the choice according to one's own needs in order to save time and cost. Thank you very much. Next, let me introduce my colleague Bruce to introduce the next product.
Hello, this is Bruce from EB China. Today I will introduce welding rods to you. In this introduction, there are 7 parts. Number 1, carbon steel welding rods. Number 2, low alloy steel welding rods. Number 3, stainless steel welding rods. Number 4, cartilage welding rods. Number 5, aluminum and aluminum alloy welding rods. Number 6, nickel and nickel alloy welding rods. Number 7, copper and copper alloy welding rods. Here comes the first part. Carbon steel electrodes. The tensile strength of the deposit metal is less than or equal to 500 MPa, namely 50 kilograms per millimeter per square millimeters. Is suitable for welding carbon steel and low strength low alloy steel. And there are 2 pictures on the left. On the right of the screen, you can finish as a reference. This is the principles of using carbon steel electrodes. For low hydrogen type and iron powder type electrodes, the electrodes must be baked at 350 degrees Celsius or higher before welding. They should be baked as much as possible and used as much as possible. Otherwise, welding defects such as porosity, slag inclusion, cracks, deterioration of process performance, etc. for cellulosic electrodes. They should be baked strictly according to the baking temperature specified in the instructions. And if the temperature is too high, the cellulose in the coating will be burned off, and the inherent process performance of the electrode will be destroyed. When using low hydrogen electrodes, the welder should stay upward to strengthen the exhaust to prevent welding fumes from harming the body. And for the low hydrogen electrodes, the baking time should not exceed twice as much as possible to prevent the coating from becoming brittle and falling off. The picture on the left and on the right is the outer package of the welding rod, and in the middle is the appearance of carbon steel electrodes. These are some pictures of this kind of products. Next is low alloy steel electrodes. For those who have good plasticity, high impact toughness, good low temperature performance, and strong crack resistance. Use alkali or high toughness electrodes. For welding of medium carbon steel or cast steel, generally choose ultra-low hydrogen high toughness electrodes, or supplemented by precise measures such as preheating. There are three kinds of low alloy electrodes. The first is 50 kilograms plus, except depositing metal, MnSi series structural steel electrodes. The second is molybdenum and molybdenum college heat resistant steel electrodes. The third is low temperature steel electrodes. When you use this kind of electrode, you should pay attention to these points. The use of low alloy structural steel electrode. The use of low alloy structural steel electrode is generally based on the strength or weight of the steel. At the same time, it also needs to be integrated according to the weldability of the steel, the transition of the base metal composition, the size, shape, groove, and force of the welding structure considered. In the unfavorable situation that the welding seam has a higher cooling rate, which increases the strength and the weld joint is prone to cracks. An electrode with a lower strength than the base metal can often be selected. In case of multi-layer welding of thick plates or normalizing after welding, it is necessary to prevent the phenomenon of low weld strength. And molybdenum and molybdenum palladic heat-resistant steel electrodes. Commonly used alloy elements in palladic heat-resistant steel are chromium, molybdenum, vanadium, neodymium, etc. to meet different working requirements. Due to the joint effect of carbon and alloy elements in steel, it is easy to form hardened structure during welding, and the welding performance is poor. Therefore, palladic heat-resistant steel is generally prohibited before welding and tempered after welding. When welding dissimilar steels, welding materials that are compatible with the immediate composition are generally selected. And appropriate preheating temperature and post-weld heat treatment conditions should be selected according to the materials with poor weldability. And when used along or for thick wrought hard welding, low hydrogen heat resistant steel electrodes should be used. And according to the characteristics of the low temperature liquefied gas production process, low temperature steel is used according to different operating temperatures, such as below 40, below 70, below 90, below 100, below 196, below 223, and the corresponding welding materials are selected. Here we come to the next part. It's about stainless steel electrodes. There is a picture of the right of the screen. It is the general appearance of stainless electrode. It refers to a type of electrode coated with a stainless steel as a source material. It can be divided into chromium stainless steel electrodes and chromium nickel stainless steel electrodes, which are widely used in chemical, fertilizer, petroleum, medical machinery, manufacturing, and other industries. Through the transition of various alloy elements between the welding coat and the coating, The welded metal becomes a certain amount of austenite and free tube structure to ensure that the welded metal has both good crack resistance and good resistance to corresponding medium, the ability to corrode. Through the welding core or coating, a certain amount of carbide forming elements such as niobium, molybdenum, titanium, etc. can be infiltrated into the welded metal to form stable carbide with carbon to prevent the formation of chromium carbides at the grain boundary. This is about its performance requirements. Firstly, you can clearly see the picture on the left of the screen. This is the general appearance of these electrodes. The increase of carbon will promote granular corrosion of authentic stainless steel, operative stainless steel. Therefore, the carbon content in the welding coat and coating materials should be strictly controlled. Low carbon or ultra low carbon is recommended. The welding coat using low carbon or carbon-free iron alloy and metal elements such as raw materials for the coating. So you should strictly control the content of sulfur and phosphorus in the stainless steel welding coat and coating to reduce the risk of thermal flux in the weld. There are several types. The first is chrome stainless steel electrodes. CR13 series stainless steel electrodes such as G202, G207, G217. And other electrodes are CR13 series stainless steel electrodes with mechanistic structure. When using this series of stainless steel electrodes, pure metallic stainless steel, the weldment should be preheated above 300 degrees Celsius before welding. And after welding, the weldment should be tempered at 700 degrees Celsius only by adopting the above mentioned technological measures. And the weld and the pitch affected zone be prevented from the cracking due to the greater tendency of hardening. Second, CR17 series stainless steel electrodes, such as G302, G307, and other electrodes, are CR17 series stainless steel electrodes with bridge structure. When using this series of stainless steel electrodes to weld treated stainless steel, you should pay attention to that the weldment should be preheated to 200 degrees Celsius before welding. And to carry out 800% temporary treatment of weldments only by adopting the above mentioned technological measures. And the weld and heat affected zone be embrittled at about 475 degrees Celsius and pressed due to the greater tendency of hardening. The second type is chromium nickel stainless steel electrodes. This type has good corrosion resistance and oxidation resistance. However, due to repeated heating during the welding process, the precipitated carbides will reduce the corrosion resistance and mechanical properties. Therefore, when choosing chromium nickel stainless steel electrodes, welding should be considered. The working temperature and medium types of the parts. Here are its selection principles. When you're selecting this type of material with the same or similar composition as the base material for welding, You should pay special attention to the carbon content of the selected electrode not to exceed the carbon content of the baseline material. Considering the performance of welding process, in recent years, titanium calcium-coated electrodes are the most popular and are widely used. Titanium calcium type coating electrodes not only have good welding performance, but also can be welded in all positions. It is one of the commonly used coating types for stainless steel electrodes. Alkaline coated stainless steel electrodes are rarely used for welding austenitic stainless steel. They are only used to solve cold cracks in austenitic stainless steels or welding structures with high rigidity. And in order to improve the stability of the arc, generally alkaline metals with lower ionization potential and alkaline metal oxides are used as arc stabilizers. For the welding of corrosion-resistant stainless steel, the electrodes should be selected according to the working temperature of the corrosive medium. For weldments that work at room temperature and the corrosive medium is not corrosive, stainless steel electrodes that do not contain MB or TI can be used for welding. For welding structures that work in dilute sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid and the corrosive medium, stainless steel electrodes containing MO or MO and Cu are often used for welding. And when the structure works above 300 degrees Celsius and the medium is very corrosive, stainless steel electrodes containing MB or TI elements or ultra-low carbon should be used for welding. And when welding chromium stainless steel, in order to ensure the balance properties of the steel, the composition of the selected electrode should be similar to that of the base metal, and the corresponding repeating post-heat treatment measures should be adopted. Chromium nickel stainless steel electrode welding can also be used, but after welding no heat treatment. The picture on the left is the appearance of stainless welding ropes. And you can see the parameters on the right picture of the screen. The next we will introduce stainless welding ropes. Copper placed alloy deposit metal has good corrosion resistance and general corrosion medium. So stainless welding rods is often used under conditions that require well resistance and corrosion performance. Here's a video to introduce stainless welding rods. In this video, you can clearly see the size quantity, the outer appearance, and some other parameters of stainless welding ropes. In this video, you can see our start to measure the length of the stainless welding ropes, about 1 centimeters.
你问一下长一点，这价格现在没有变动吧？没变动。
About this, you can see the thickness of stated welding rods. It's very accurate. Next is about aluminum welding rods. You can take the pictures on the right of the screen as a reference to have a deep understanding about the outer appearance. Using aluminum and aluminum alloy as welding rods for deposited metal. According to its composition system, there are pure aluminum welding rods, aluminum silicon welding rods, and aluminum manganese welding rods. Pure aluminum electrodes are mainly used for welding aluminum and aluminum alloys that do not require high joint performance. The welding seam of aluminum silicon electrode has good thermal crack resistance and is often used for welding aluminum plates. Aluminum silicon castings, general aluminum alloys, forged aluminum, hard aluminum, etc. But it is not suitable for welding aluminum manganese alloys. An aluminum manganese electrode has good corrosion resistance and can be used for welding aluminum manganese alloy, pure aluminum and other aluminum alloys. Here are instructions for use. And before that, you can see the pictures on the bottom, on the left of the screen. It is very thin. The coatings of aluminum and aluminum alloy electrodes are starch-based. That is, they are mainly composed of ferrite and fluoride salts of air-blind metals and air-blind earth metals. During welding, the arc stability is poor and the splash is large. So DC power supply must be used. In addition, the electrode coating is easy to absorb moisture, so it should be stored in a dry sealed container and must be dried at about 150 degrees Celsius for an hour before welding. When arc welding aluminum and aluminum alloys, defects such as metal oxidation, element burnouts, faults, and cracks often occur. In order to prevent the above effects, in addition to storing and drying the welding rods, chemical cleaning or mechanical removal of the groove dirt is also used. The preheating temperature should be appropriate, and the short arc welding should be used. The welding speed should be accelerated, and the horizontal swing should not be performed. Next is nickel and nickel alloy electrodes. They are mainly used for welding pure nickel and high nickel alloys, sometimes used for welding dissimilar metals. However, considering the alloy loss of the electrode in the arc, some other elements should be included in the electrode to improve the weld performance and the welding process performance. And they are mainly selected according to the alloy brand, chemical composition, and use environment of the base metal to be welded. The main chemical composition of the deposited metal of the electrode should be close to that of the base metal to ensure that the performance of the welding joint is equivalent to that of the base metal. However, considering the alloy loss of the welding rod in the arc, some elements should be included in the welding rod to improve the weld performance or welding process performance. And if the rod with the same composition does not meet the design requirements, or there is no suitable welding rod with similar alloy composition, it is recommended to use a welding rod with a higher performance to ensure that the performance of the weld is not lower than that of the base metal. And before using, there are 6 precautions. The first is preparation of the base metal. The oil, paint, dust, and other dirt on the surface of the base metal should be carefully removed before welding, and to prevent blowholes, short arc welding issues. And you should also use a small welding current. Do not repeat before welding, and keep a low in pass temperature, less than 150 degrees Celsius, to avoid overheating of the base metal. During the welding, the wing range of the electrode should be small and stay on both sides of the welding pitch for a long time to facilitate the emergence of pores and welding slag. You should also pay attention to filling the arc crater when closing the arc to avoid crater plugs. The last precaution is that the microstructure of nickel and nickel alloys is arsenic, which has a strong tendency of hot cracking. When welding billet welds, the weld pitch is required to be convex, which can better prevent the generation of hot cracks. The next is copper and copper alloy electrodes. On the 2 pictures on the right of the screen, you can see the color is very shiny. Welding rod with copper and copper alloy as deposit metal. According to its composition system, there are red copper electrodes and bronze electrodes. Bronze electrodes are divided into silicon bronze electrodes, phosphor bronze electrodes, and aluminum bronze electrodes. The copper electrode is mainly used for welding copper. Bronze electrode can be used for welding ferrous copper and copper alloys, copper and steel dissimilar materials, and also commonly used for surfacing bearings and other parts that bear in metallic wear and corrosion resistant parts. It can also be used for welding and repairing cast iron parts. Here are instructions. Copper has a large expansion coefficient and large shrinkage stress during cooling, which is easy to cause cracks and deformation. Therefore, the assembly gap should be wider and the bevel angle should be larger. The oxides, grease, and other dirt on the welded edge should be removed before welding. Due to the extremely high thermal conductivity of copper and copper alloys, it is necessary to preheat and use a large current when welding in order to prevent the grease from coarsening. A flathead hammer is used to hammer the weld after welding to eliminate stress and refine the grains. In addition, the welding operation should be carried out in a ventilated place or use artificial ventilation to avoid copper poisoning. In order to obtain high quality welds and reduce the oxidization of alloy elements, copper and copper alloy electrodes should use airtight, low hydrogen coatings. Thank you very much. This is the main content of today's introduction. Welcome my colleague Terry to present you the next wonderful illustration.
Hello everyone, this is Terry from B channel. Welcome to today's lecture. Today I'm going to show you something about the cobalt alloy and the nickel alloy. Okay, let's begin. First thing is cobalt alloy. Main name has stainless force and stainless sticks. This is the material for stainless, and it is a hard alloy that can withstand various types of wear and corrosion and high temperatures, commonly known as coal and cobalt-based alloy. Granite is based on cobalt as a main component, including some nickel, chromium. These are some basic information of stainless force and sticks. The first one is the stainless force. It is cobalt alloy. The hardness is 145 to 155. The most used material is stainless 20. Another is stainless 6. The material wave 6 is generally lower than the material of the wave force. The material is stainless E3. These are some pictures of the stainless force and sticks. Here is a report of the stainless force and sticks. From this we can learn its chemical composition and physical properties. For this, then we can know that the size of staples and seeds are various. We have exported the stair wave force and seeds to many countries, such as USA, UK, and Canada, Spain, Greece, and Australia, and other countries. Our customer has very good feedback to our stainless force and seeds. Okay, forward your order and about stainless force and seeds. This is our other products for cobalt alloy. It has cobalt alloy welding rods, cobalt alloy round bars, and cobalt alloy rings. Next is Co-50 Castings&Forgings. These are some basic information for it. 50 is a high temperature alloy material. High temperature alloy refers to a type of material based on iron, nickel, and cobalt that can work for a long time. The high temperature above 600 degrees and certain stress has high temperature stress would oxidation and corrosion resistance, good feature performance, fracture toughness, and other comprehensive properties. These are some photos of the quality castings and forgings.
你们没有新的训练，
我这儿没有。
都没有。日语影片，
Here is a test report
阿
of
里
it.
那边没有啊。
没空，以后再搞啊。
It is the drawings and the photos of the products. Okay, next is nickel alloy. Nickel alloys can be divided into three parts. They are ammonium alloy, antimonium alloy, and histone alloy.
对啊，今天有多少人在群？
First is ammonium alloy.
没有。今天手头有学员可以处理的。
Ammonium alloy is serious products have excellent physical properties of high stress,
可以。
high corrosion resistance, and wear resistance.
也没有新的在看。没有
They
新的
have
在
the longest and non-slice knife. Commonly used grades ammonium 400 and ammonium K500.
人是怎么找的？
From the black that chemical composition of the ammonium alloy, so the material performance of ammonium K500 is better than that of ammonium 400.
光找地方，价格呢？一个这几款的给你价格。
Here is a test report of the ammonium alloy.
不可能的。不会是2万多吧？还是200多？应该不是2万。
Here is a check report of the ammonium alloy. These are some photos of the ammonium alloy. Here are holes, lumps, and the washes we sent to Australia.
你要多着急，你一过台就知道了，那价格是怎么样。你都不知道现在好多厂
Here are the rings and the tubes we sent to The second one is a chromium alloy. This is the basic information for chromium alloy. And the biggest feature of chromium series material is better corrosion resistance. Generally speaking, the higher chromium content, the better the corrosion resistance. From this, we can know that the chemical composition of the chromium alloy. Here is three types of material. The higher the chromium content, the better the corrosion resistance. This is a test report of the chromium alloy. That is the check report of the products. These are some photos of including analysts. The third one is annoy alloy. One is nickel-based corrosion resistance alloy, and divided into two categories: nickel chromium alloy and nickel chromium molybdenum alloy. This alloy has good corrosion resistance. On the right flank, we can under the chemical composition of the base alloy. This alloy is mainly divided into three series: B, C, and C. It is mainly used in aerospace, stainless steel, non-metallic materials, and other strong corrosion media that cannot be used. The most widely used are the second generation material. These are some photos of the piston alloy. We can know that its shape and shape are different from each other, while its color are same. Okay, next is our new product, dental alloy. The casting process of dental alloy parts is reverse casting, also known as monster-wicks casting method. The basic process is to first make a wicks model from wicks on plastic. The surface of the wicks model is cooked with an emitted material to make the casting model. And then the molten alloy is casted into the casting cavity inside, forming a casting. From the left of this page, we can learn the chemical industry of the dental alloy. The market for dental alloy is very broad because of the widespread dental industry. The demand for dental alloy has increased, as we all know. There are many kinds of dental alloy materials. Today, we show the demand for dental alloys of various materials. First, nickel dental alloy accounted for 59% of the world. 2. Cobalt dental alloy accounted for 31% of the world. 3. Nickel containing dental alloy accounted for 7% of the world. 4. Others accounted for 3% of the world. These are some photos for dental alloy. This is some videos for the dental alloy.
他现在这个业务。
Okay, that's my introduction for cobalt alloy and nickel alloy. If you want to know more about the products, you can connect us with by emails or WhatsApp. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, this is Biner from EB China. In this part, I want to introduce all products, EB metal powders. Okay, let's begin. The first chart shows us the catalog. This part will be divided into 4 different parts. The first one is nickel powder, the second one is alumina powder, the third one is copper powder, the last one is cobalt powder. Okay, look, this is part of my nickel powder. On the left side, there is a picture of nickel powder. You can see the color of nickel powder is green. And on the right side is basic information of nickel powder. Metal pigments with metal nickel as the main component, including nickel powder and dark nickel powder. Nickel powder is distilled and purified. The flat nickel powder is made of high nickel powder in the presence of a suitable lubricant, and the liquid medium is ground with a steel ball in a bone mill to form a flake of a suitable thickness. In this part, I want to talk about some basic information of nickel powder. The first one is the color. We just talk about it. The color of nickel powder is gray irregular powder, which is easy to oxidize and moist air. And next is information of uses of nickel powder. Nickel powder can be used to prepare non-ferrous alloys, high temperature resistant, anti-oxidation materials, magnesium materials, and nickel powder can also be used as a hydrogenation catalyst for chemical reactions. The next part is packaging of nickel powders. EB nickel powders will be packed with protective bags like the plastic bags, cloth bags, and iron drums. There are some pictures of nickel powder. The upper picture show us the color of nickel powder. We just talk about it. The color of nickel powder is green, and the lower picture show us a package of EB nickel powder. The first one is a carton. The second one is plastic bags. The third one is eye drops. So there is a test report of EB nickel powders. You don't have to worry about the quality of all products because we will show you a test report before the shipment. In this test report, you can see the actual value contains of nickel powders. You can see the nickel is more than 99.77%. The cobalt is less than 0.09%. The oxygen is less than 0.13%. The sulfur is less than 0.01%. The cobalt is less than 0.001%. The ferrum is 0.001%. So if you are interested in nickel powders, you can follow our live show or email us. We are willing to answer your question. Okay, the next one is part 2, aluminum powder. On the left side, there is a picture of alumina powder. You can see the color is silver white, and on the right side there is a basic information of alumina powder. Alumina powder, commonly known as silver powder, that is silver metallic pigment. A small amount of lubricant is added to pure alumina foil, crushed into scaly powder, and then polished. This page shows us a feature of alumina powder. The first one is color. Alumina powder is a silver white metal powder. And alumina powder can be used in tints, inks, and fibers. The package of EB alumina powder will be packed with protective glass lined plastic bags, cloth bags, and eye drops. Here are some pictures of alumina powder, and other pictures show us the color of alumina powder. The color of alumina powder is silver white, and the lower picture is a package of EB alumina powder, which is plastic bags and eye drops. You don't have to worry about whether the package will be broken during the shipment. We have a well-done after-sale system. We will solve the problems. And here is a test report of alumina powder. You can see the EB alumina powder contains more than 99.9% alumina. The third one, the part 3 is copper powder. In the first page, I want to talk about the type of copper powder. According to this chart, you can know the copper powder is divided into two different parts. The first one is pure copper powder, the second one is copper alloy powder. The difference is that copper alloy powder contains 40% zinc. This page, I want to show you the different color of copper powder and pure copper powder. You can see there is two pictures of pure copper powder and copper alloy powder. The copper alloy powder is yellow, the pure copper powder is red. And next, I want to talk about the production process of copper powder. The production process of copper powder is divided into electrolytic method, atomization method, and reduction method. Now the most used method is atomization. And in this page, I want to introduce the feature of copper powder. The color of pure copper powder is red. The color of copper alloy powder is yellow. And copper powder is widely used in powder metallurgy, diamond tools, thin materials, electrical copper powder, heating conducting materials, welding materials, super hard materials, friction materials, pharmaceutical and chemical industries. And EB copper powder will be packed with protective glass, lined plastic bags, cloth bags, and eye drops. There are other pictures of copper powder show us the different color of pure copper powder and copper alloy powder. You can see the pure copper powder is red and the copper alloy powder is yellow. The difference is that the copper alloy powder contains 40% zinc. There is a test report of pure copper powder and copper alloy powder. The first analyzed result is pure copper powder. You can see the pure copper powder contains more than 99.9% copper, and the furan is less than 0.18%. The cobalt is less than 0.04%. The nickel is less than 0.005%. The stanium is less than 0.001%. The manganese is less than 0.003%. The cobalt is less than 0.002%. The zinc is less than 0.001%. The aluminum is less than 0.004%. The second chart is the analyzed result of copper alloy powder. You can see copper alloy powder contains 16.02% copper, and the zinc is less than 39.83%. The furan is less than 0.04%. The nickel is less than 0.05%. The stanium is less than 0.001%. The aluminum is less than 0.03%. So if you are interested in the nickel powder, aluminum powder, and the copper powder, you can follow our live show or email us. We are willing to answer your question. And the last part is cobalt powder. The raw materials for the production of cobalt alloy powder, the cobalt powder is cobalt oxalate. On the left side is a picture of cobalt powder. You can see the color of cobalt powder is green. In this part, I want to talk about the feature of cobalt powder. The color of pure cobalt powder is green, and the cobalt powder can be used as metallurgical products such as cemented carbide, diamond tools, high temperature alloys, magnetic materials, and chemical conducting products such as rechargeable batteries, industrial blasting agents, road fuel, and medicines. The AB cobalt powder will be packed with iron drums or a plastic box. These photos show us the color of cobalt powder and the package of AB cobalt powder. The color of cobalt powder, we just talked about it, which is green, and the package of EB cobalt powder is iron drums. There is a size comparison table of powder. You know, EB China specializes in producing and supplying all kinds of metal powders. So if you are interested in the metal powders, you can follow our live show or email us. We can offer you more information and answer your question. Okay, there are some pictures of other powder. The first one is magnesium. Manganese powder. The second one is titanium powder. The third one is law powder, iron powder. The first one is germanium powder. The lower picture, first one is magnesium powder. The second one is chrome powder. The third one is zinc powder. If you are interested in these powders, you can email us too. Okay, that's all I want to talk about EB metal powders. If you are interested in the EB metal powders, you can follow our live show or email us. Thank you for watching.
瑞瑞，你结束一下，我崩溃了。